Black Cat is now playable in Marvel Rivals, and I think this is the first time in a while I can say the pro players were wrong about Black Cat. While her pop-off potential is undeniable, and her combos are actually deceptively simple, I think she has quite a few counters in the meta that are really going to check her, though her power set checks quite a few heroes as well. So now we're going to go through Black Cat's kit, and I'm going to show you the basic combos and tips with her abilities that I learned through my limited gameplay with her so far. This is a duelist with a lot of decision making, and I think what's going to prevent people from getting to the advanced level with her is knowing when to use her special cooldowns, knowing when to escape, and of course knowing when to go all in, because her ultimate is very much about going all in. Comment your thoughts on Black Cat and let's get started. Black Cat's playstyle is very MOBA coded because she's all about building up this gold meter. With her basic attack, it's going to be simple, 50 per strike, 50 and then a double strike, so 150 off those back-to-backs. That's her basic combo, by the way, just a 1-2 punch, but with her left trigger, she gets access to another attack, this Claw Whip. And the Claw Whip, you actually have to pay money to use it. You pay the 150, but for every character it hits, you get 50 back. So this is best used as crowd control. And as you can see, not only does the whip have a pretty large radius, but it can also give you some overshield. 25 per target, max of 50. And this is what's going to make her combos actually super effective. When you start mixing in this whip, you're going to be getting constant overshield in the middle of your combos. Of course, to get the real value out of that form change, I guess, because this is one of the weakest form changes I've ever seen, but technically it is, you can get the Phantom Pursuit. And this is really good because if enemies use their movement abilities, you'll still chase them in the movement ability, but you don't displace yourself from where you're standing. Example, though it does cost 300 to use, which is pretty crazy. You do get a little bit back when you hit it though. That's the thing that makes it kind of tricky. So you build a 300, hit Phantom Pursuit, get 150 back. You have enough for a Claw Whip, but that puts you down to 50. This is where a large part of her skill gap is going to be managing the money. Though a big tip I found here is that you can just stay in the form change and just hit claw attacks, and she'll automatically do her basic combos and then just switch into that whip when she has enough money. So if you're fighting a huge crowd of people, if you're in the middle of a brawl, this is probably the way to do it. Just stay in that left trigger form change. And this is going to mix pretty well with her dash attack, and it's actually going to do damage to every enemy that she goes through. And then you can just come around and start whipping from the back, because you're also going to get gold on every enemy you contact with this dash. So you kind of see that her cycles, at least for her basic combos, is to dash through enemies, come around with a whip, use up her whips, just start smacking with her regular attacks until she builds her whips again. Because we haven't gone over her powers, but the thing to know about all the special abilities she can buy, none of them actually do damage to the enemy. They're all supplemental to her strategy. Last attack we're going to talk about, it's actually her little thief ability. It does a tiny bit of damage, only 30, but you can still 300 from them. It's on a 5-second cooldown though, but it is a quick and easy way to get yourself started to get your powers, because none of your powers actually cost above 200. Now looking at the powers you can buy, it's actually artifacts from all across the Chronoverse, and the simplest one is the Tablet of Destinies because it costs 100, and then you do a little gamble. You're essentially doing a gacha roll to see if you can get more money than you spent. So 100, we only got 50. And on this second one, we spent 100, but we got 500 there. So you see, sometimes you get a pretty big bonus out of that, and you can spend it on all the other powers in quick succession, because there's no real limit to how fast you can buy these powers. First, we got the Faultine Flame Orb. This is really just a radar orb. It's going to reveal them. You'll see them through walls. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't have a lot of health. As soon as people notice this, they usually shoot it, but at the very least, you'll know that someone shot it, so it kind of has the same effect as a Elsa Bloodstone Trip Mine in that sense. It does only cost 100 though, so you can send these out pretty quickly. The next one is Chernobog's Crystal, and this is really just a cleanse for you. I think this got debuffed from the original trailers because people were blocking ults with it. I have yet to do that, but maybe it's still there. It's just a split-second cleanse is the thing. The next power that I really like is this Helm of Hades. And not only is it going to make you invisible, it's going to give you like a 50 to 60% speed boost for about 2 seconds. So we'll test it right here. Here's her normal running speed, and then you apply the helm, and you actually get a pretty big dash there. Combine it with her other dash powers, you can get pretty big repositions using this Helm of Hades, and it only costs 200. So, you know, if you got a big gold stack, you can just keep reusing this thing and effectively have like 8 to 10 seconds of invisibility on lock. However, her two most valuable ones, it's kind of a toss-up. You have a mini Doctor Strange portal called the Ring of Zona, and you only place one part of the portal. It's really just about getting through the depth. I'm not sure on the maximum depth of this, and it is on kind of a short timer. Like, it's gonna run out very quickly here. Maybe like 5 to 7 to 10 seconds there. Yeah, just enough for your team to get through a piece of terrain. Not even really a big reposition. Truthfully, the most important one, probably the most meta-changing, the one that invalidates the most heroes for sure, is this Mento Fish. Because the Mento Fish disables movement abilities, it also grounds flying heroes, and something they don't tell you in our hero chart, it actually slows them as well. So it's not a very big area, but anything within this is slowed and stopped, and they're right where you want them so that you can be hitting your claw attacks. And it creates a real pit of devastation. Honestly, she's a pure Brawl hero, and she pairs well with the other Brawls. Brawl kind of suffers in this game, though, because Poke is very strong, Anti-Dive and Dive is very strong, and Brawl just likes to stand on point and duke it out. And honestly, this is a game based around a lot of damage dumps, and that's where Brawl comps really fail. Thankfully, she can do some huge damage dumps with her combos, invalidate a lot of things with some of her cooldowns here, and we haven't even talked about her ultimate yet. Her ultimate is more flank or dive coded, so it doesn't help her brawl, but at the very least, it helps her single out targets. And something to know about this, by the way, so it applies these cards to them, and you can dash to them, do your regular combos, but what it's also doing is a percentage of total health damage. So on the second of her claw attacks, it's going to do, I think, 20% of the total health that they have. So she's actually really good at countering the tanks. When she goes ultimate, she's kind of like a Magneto, kind of like an Iron Fist. But until then, I would really only use her to try to get the strategists. And it's even funny that I bring up Iron Fist out of nowhere too, because I feel like her movement is pretty Iron Fist coded. Runs up the wall. And then you see how her double jump works? Goes back on the wall, it actually resets her double jump. So it's like as long as you have contact with a crawling surface, you can stay in the air pretty much infinitely and wait for your targets. Kind of Daredevil as well. Though Daredevil's seen a bit of a nerf, so I feel like Daredevil mains might get a lot of value out of Black Cat. We might see a lot of people changing it up. The very last thing I want to talk about, though, is she actually does have a bad luck ability here, because in comic canon, her whole thing is that she inflicts bad luck on her enemies, and that's why she wins more. It's a roundabout good luck power. So if she applies a jinx to enemies she hits, they have a chance to lose their bonus health when striking her with a critical hit. This is actually pretty huge, though it is very random. You're leaving it up to chance, but it makes her able to brawl against characters like a Winter Soldier, or, you know, even something like a low-terrain Human Torch, because Human Torch can hit big attacks, but if he doesn't actually get his headshot, then he's pretty much useless in that scenario. I'm going to be very interested to see some of the clips around Black Cat, because legitimately Black Cat is going to win some fights that she just shouldn't because of that Jinx power, and she's the only one who has anything like that in the roster. Tell me your thoughts on Black Cat's kit in the comments. Are you a fan of this new meta? Are you hoping for some hero changes? What about the ult nerfs and the CC nerfs as well? Because they just changed the way the crowd control works. There's a hard limit, and that's one of the things that's actually hurting some of the heroes as well. I think we'll go into that in a different video, but characters like Rogue are pretty much gutted, and characters like the Thing and the Hulk, they were very powerful in Season 7, but now in Season 7.5, they're going to get a huge fall off, I think.